Under the Cowl, episode 50. We're back.
Audio.
All right, and we are recording. We're up. We're live and running. Just about on time. I had to do one of those browser updates as I'm trying to get on, of course. So, you know me and technology. Everything has to update while I'm trying to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, that timing is always very coincidental.
So, now,
So what's the show now?
what's that?
What's the show now, this current one? This is Under the Cowl?
Under the Cowl? Yes, it is.
That's kind of like a little, segue or assist to intro the show.
Yeah, actually, I introed it before I let you in.
Oh, geez.
But thanks. See, I didn't know who all was going to come, and initially I thought, oh, you know what, I should let Anthony do the intro.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I was thinking how that was going to work, once people come in, rather than having, everybody here and then starting, it is kind of like, hey, people just float in if they're
we just introduce people as they come. I'm like, hey, it's Kerby. Hi, whatever. Now, if you want, we can go take two, and I can have you do the intro. Now, the problem with doing intros the way we have in the past is coming up with an episode name before we know what it's going to be, which I always did that recording for it. And that's kind of the format that I did. This one was easy. I just put it as We're Back. I don't. Do you want to do the official intro? I mean, I did it. I can cut that, and we can.
Sure.
I just go Under the Cowl, episode 50, and then the title name, which was We're Back, or as I put it, We're Back. But throw your own spin on it. Whatever. If it sucks, I'll just use mine. No big deal.
So, what's the script again?
So it is Under the Cowl, and I leave pauses in there too, just to make it nice and clear. Under the Cowl, episode 50. We're back.
Okay.
Because somebody might, of course, I'll do it as a title. I'm even going to add a little something to the audio, just like I always did before. But that's part of the reason that I leave the pauses in there, so I can kind of tweak it a little bit. Oh, we got to hurry because Shelly's iPad is trying to get on. So tell you what, I'm going to do a speaker view, and I'll let you make some noise so that you're
okay. Noise. Under the Cowl, episode 50. We're back.
And now I suppose it's a great intro. We will we'll go ahead and admit Shelly's iPad. Shelly's iPad is now joining us, and here we are, Shelly's iPad.
Welcome aboard, Shelly's iPad.
Or Kerby for short.
Yeah. Still connecting to audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, my fat fingers are hitting all kinds of things.
I was going to say, speaking of Kerby, he's got that Jack Kirby hand going on there, the way he draws hands
Oh,
coming into the audience.
little Kirby crackle coming off of there.
Yeah, you don't want to see my Kerby crackle.
Okay,
Pretty
you
clean.
know what? I've got a topic right off the bat here. It has nothing to do with your Kirby crackle, but I've got to ask because if I've ever had this explained to me, I don't recall it. So I don't know if we ever got the explanation. Now, Kirby's not your actual given name.
Nope.
How did you end up with the name Kerby?
The original person that came up with it was Darren. Darren, a friend of the family. He basically born the exact same day as I was, 2 years apart. So we figured out our families all went up north every year in August. So we figured out that's when we were conceived each year. But a lot of things happened to me dealing with the curve and stuff like that. And for some reason, he just used that name, and then it just kind of fit in perfectly beyond that. It's like I got chased by a cop once in Fond du Lac, and it was just started raining. I came flying through the intersection, and I lost control, slid, and the car perfectly parked between two other cars and slammed right against the curb and broke one of the tires right on the curb. Cop went flying by and got free and clear. I've had times where I got pictures of me passed out on curbs. It's just all kinds of things have happened throughout my lifetime that just fit with the name, and it stuck ever since. And
So we should actually be spelling it Curby.
Yeah,
That's where the
a lot of people did spell it that way in the early years, and then I forced them to change. So, it was either that or the vacuum cleaner would constantly come up.
Okay.
So.
Now, and listening to that story, what I've got to ask, because this is Under the Cowl, and these are the kind of questions that we ask in Under the Cowl, is, okay, so you figured out that you and your friend were both conceived when your parents all went up north. Was there some kind of, is this some special lodge that's up there?
Well, every year,
parentage, is there?
Every year we had the same cottages booked in Minocqua. So there was 3 families, and all 3 families would go up north for a 2-week period. And there's always one night each year where they went out, party, got a little too shit-faced, and that's how my mom got the nickname Screamy, because when she gets drunk, she gets really loud. And you get the other 2 gals cackling, Shirley and Georgia, and it's a hilarious fun fest of and then you basically know what happens after that. But yeah, it just worked out, 2 years apart, and then we were thinking about it one time. It's like, went back 9 months. It's like, that's when we're up north. So
Oh boy, yeah. Everybody's got all kinds of nicknames based on things like that, Kirby, Screamy, Hand Job.
I didn't know that was Anthony's nickname.
I didn't know that either until right now.
I mean, so when I rode with the one club for a while there, we had a guy named Bugman, a guy named Boatman, it's Weasel. And so,
Are these members of the Suicide Squad, or?
Yeah, they could have been.
and Boatman, you said? Was it Boatman?
Yep.
Any sightings of Boatman around Holy Hill?
Nope, was sighted more in the Illinois area.
What, you got a Boatman too?
And for those who don't get that reference, look up Goatman.
Yeah.
I just thought you were going to say a boatman. Like, yeah, everybody knows a boatman.
He had his name because it was a motorcycle club. All the old members, he ended up getting health issues or something and had to sell his motorcycle, and he bought a boat instead. So the club bought him a pair of slip-on boat shoes and gave him the new nickname. So that's how he got that one. Bugman, he got it because he was one of the grossest 2 members of our club. And he basically would eat just about anything, including we've seen him eat dog poop and puke.
He's lucky that the nickname that stuck was Bug Man.
Yeah, it started out with the bugs and it just advanced. His appetite just got worse and worse over the years.
Dog.
I think all these characters are in the Tick too. I was reading some of those comics, and I'm pretty sure all these characters show up in there. So,
Yeah.
the one topic I brought to the table, as we probably know at the time of this recording, there was a big debate going on, and I wanted to talk about it here. So, who is better, Swamp Thing or Man Thing? That's the debate that everyone's been talking about.
I'm gonna go with Swamp Thing just because he has arms.
Yeah, this is one of those Build-A-Figures that I only got this part, and yeah, so I might just have to buy another Swamp Thing, which would probably be easier, and then remove the arms and legs. And
That was always the problem that I had with the Build-A-Figures is, you know, I'd buy them, either as a figure I really didn't want and you'd feel forced to buy it for a part, or you'd collect them all and then there's the one figure that suddenly you just can't find anywhere.
Or you sniff too much glue and never finish the job. Like Anthony did.
Yeah, glue is it was part of the Build-A-Figure too, so I only got, I didn't get the cap to the glue, so I had to use up all the glue on the first try. So.
And that's how he got the nickname Glue Man.
Yep. And then I joined the Glue Man group, so
Yes.
Seems like you were going to lead to that.
As soon as that was said,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go with Swamp Thing for the figure and Man Thing for the powers.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't read as much Man Thing as I would Swamp Thing, but it seems like Swamp Thing might just have a more personal human approach. Like, I think you could probably relate to him more, but maybe that's just...
Man Thing's definitely more of just a beast type character.
Yeah, it seems like he doesn't have that connection as much. I think he still has that inner monologue going on, but I don't think he has, he's not, having relationships with good looking women. Like, does Man Thing, does he go out and date?
Fire as soon as he touches them.
Yeah, so I think that's part of the attraction too, is that there's nothing greater than like a monster and a blonde, like. Yeah.
Like Man Thing and Mr. Freeze need to work out some type of deal.
Admittedly, I have probably zero or close to it reading experience with anything Man Thing related. I think I've seen stuff where he was kind of in there, more of a cameo and whatever, so I really couldn't tell you much about the character and how the behaviors, powers, any of that. It's not a character that I've ever really looked up and read up on or anything else. So I would have a really hard time choosing between the two. So I'm just going to stick with Swamp Thing because he has arms.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the League of Monsters, I probably wouldn't know half as much as I do know about Man Thing.
Yeah, and you just look at the sheer volume of comics too for Swamp Thing that, not that he always has an ongoing series, but when he does, I mean, he's gotten up to, 150 issues at one point, and
even though they redo the origin story about 100 of those times.
Yeah. But yep, that was the great debate that everyone's been talking about in America. So I wanted to at least bring it up here for this. And now that we got that out of the way, we can move on to the real topics. So.
And by everybody, you really just mean you were wondering what we thought.
True. And because I was looking around at my figure set and wondering what I could compare, and I saw Swamp Thing, Man Thing, and that was the closest. So.
Yeah, I guess I'd say I have a Swamp Thing action figure. I don't have a Man Thing action figure with or without legs and arms and stuff. So there again, I would have to go with Swamp Thing.
So yeah, Under the Cowl, for those that are new to it, this kind of new iteration that's not happening when we're sitting at a comic book shop and just hitting record and reviewing pizza, and then Kerby listens back to it. Basically, just kind of taking any of the in-between chatter from our Crimson Cowl Comic Club and just kind of using that as a podcast, not have any real format, and hopefully some conversation can kind of spin out of some things that we've been talking about, just as evidence with Boltman.
And I'm going to go back to the origin of Under the Cowl. And I'm going to say when we first discussed having this concept, the three people that were really involved with it was myself, Glue Man, and Kurt. And Kurt agreed to it. He was going to participate in everything because we didn't have really a format. There wasn't like this episode's agenda is as follows or whatever. Whereas the club, that podcast is very much, okay, this is what we're talking about. Here's how we're organizing it. Under the Cowl is pretty much just people would come into the store and whatever conversation we were having is what we had. A lot of times if it was just me and Anthony, there were things to talk about, and a lot of times Anthony would come prepared with topics, just so we had something to talk about and we're not, just sitting there staring at, I don't know, whatever, what is there to stare at a comic book store? So we would have certain ideas and, hey, we could talk about this. And that's pretty much what it is now, except that instead of having people just randomly walk in and you don't know who's walking in, now, due to the modern marvel of technology that we have here, it's whoever comes into our Zoom meeting, which is open to everybody that we send an invitation to.
It's like basically Under the Cowl went from come on in and possibly be illegally recorded, or now you can join by your own omission.
We were pretty good about letting people know. And actually, most of the people that came in while we were recording knew that we did it already. There were some people that came in and, no names were used, no kind of identifying anything. I may or may not have distorted the voice, for the podcast. I didn't, but, I might have. But really, there was no way to tell who these people were anyways. So, it's not like we were videotaping them secretly in the bathroom.
That was a different.
That was the other.
We just haven't seen those videos possibly yet.
That's a different podcast. So.
Well, I get way behind.
Under the potty cast, the camera under the potty.
Which might be a segue. I was going to ask if what kind of information you're going to go into, or if you're saving that for a different Under the Cowl of MS. You had mentioned.
Are you talking about partying with Michael Jackson and having some fentanyl?
I'm not sure if that was where that was going.
Or are you wanting to know what your future has to offer you with a colonoscopy?
So is that something you've recorded already that's about to drop, so to speak?
No, I'm going to drop that one tomorrow. I don't know if you heard today's one. Today was a little weird collaboration I did, talking a lot about all you guys too in there.
So. Yeah, I saw the thing. I haven't listened to it, but you mentioned you podcasting with, and yeah, so.
But yeah, I was listening a while back. Well, not long ago. It's like, I don't know, a week or two ago when I got the appointment for this colonoscopy. I just listening to the Bill and Bert podcast with Bill Burr and Bert Kreischer, and hear Bill Burr's telling Bert Kreischer about his colonoscopy and what he has to look forward to. That he should get one because Bert Kreischer's like up and down, dieting, drinking, then just go, his weight's just jumping big time over and over. So those are, you should really go in and get one done, because once you're hit 50, pretty much everybody is supposed to. But even my brother's 58 and he has yet to do one. He's got one, an at-home one sitting at his house, which is the way to go if you can do that. I accidentally told them I had some blood, and they're like, "No, you got to come in." So,
Yeah, no, I do at-home colonoscopies all the time.
yeah, just
Is
got
it
a whole
happening right now?
back room.
Yeah, can you tell?
Yeah.
I figured shooting, here up, you can't see that I'm not wearing pants and everything. So.
Yeah, Bill was going on about it and stuff, and I was getting these little horror story things in my head. And then on Hollywood Babylon, Rolf Garman was telling Kevin Smith about his colonoscopy, because Kevin just turned 50. We're the same age. So he's got to go in and get one done here pretty soon, which Kevin, he probably won't even get put out for it, because he's been looking forward to getting something shoved up his ass in a while. So.
Well, I'm only 45, so I'm behind you with the colonoscopies.
Yeah, as long as you don't have any bleeding issues, don't tell the doctor, otherwise you'll get in there early.
Well, you had mentioned that you and Kevin are the same age, because his family and your family and the other person's family would go up to that cabin, to that lodge, right?
Yep. At the same time. No, he was born a few months later, so he's a little bit off. But yeah, it's like the hardest part's the prep the day and a half before. It's like I couldn't sleep for 2 days because I had to take 2 pills at, like, I can't remember the times. It was in the afternoon. Then you have to drink this 32 ounces, 8 ounces every 10 minutes of this Miralax shit. I figured the 2 pills were going to cause me to have the shits. They didn't do nothing. I don't know what their purpose was. Once you start drinking that other stuff, your stomach starts making noises. And then all you can do is drink liquids the whole day. And you got to do clear liquids, which is white grape juice, apple juice. You can have coffee. Yeah, no alcohol. It's
No vodka.
like, cool. Tequila, gin, vodka. But sat there and there's, I don't know, white cranberry and stuff like that. And then Gatorade, but you can't have no blue or red because it could stain your intestines. And they don't want to stick the camera in there and see stains.
Well, it's good to know that my intestines are blue. Maybe I should do the Blue Man Group.
And mine are glue.
At least Blue Poo Group or something.
And mine will be blue.
There's probably some
because I got myself a box of blueberries. I get 1 box every year. You shit blue the next day. I thought about doing it before the colonoscopy, but no, I didn't want to.
I had that with the Smurf cereal. That was a limited edition. So
some people get blueberries. Kerby gets blue.
Blueberries. But yeah, for a day and a half, you're doing that shit, and I couldn't go to sleep because I had to take pills again at 2 a.m, and I had to drink the second round of Miralax bottle of shit at 4 a.m. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Take an hour nap in between all this shit, and you can't because you're constantly in the bathroom every 5 minutes. But everybody's like telling you all this shit that it's real. You're basically, as soon as you take the pills, just sit on the toilet and don't leave. But it wasn't that bad. I don't know what those people eat, but yeah, go in. We got there at 5:45 in the morning. Parking lot's empty. There's like 3 security cars, a couple nurse cars. Other than that, no one's there. Go up to the door. It's locked. The hospital's locked. Go around. We had to go to the emergency room entrance. That's the only way we could get in.
you had to go in through the back.
You had to have an emergency
through the back door. And then got in there, strip down, throw the robe on, get on the table. They prep you up for an hour doing your IV and shit like that. The anesthesiologist and shit comes in, and the doctor comes in and talks to you. And they rolled you into the room. You turn on your left side. The anesthesiologist sticks an oxygen thing in your nose and a little face mask on. And he's like, I just put your party in your IV bag for you. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, hey, I'm feeling it already. And as soon as I said those words, that was it. And next thing I know, my eyes are still open, so I didn't feel like I went out at all. My eyes are still open, and they're rolling me into the room. So it's like, that fentanyl is just awesome because I've been put asleep a lot of times, and you just gotta do the counting backwards and all that stuff, and wait a little while for it to kick in, and you feel like shit when you come out. This stuff, I understand why Michael Jackson did it, because when I came out of that, I felt better than any day on CPAP, any day that I got like 8 hours sleep. I was wide awake, but when I went into surgery, I was out of it. I was dead tired. But yeah, as soon as he does that and told me that the party was in the bag, the doctor, she grabs my leg, she lifts it up and moves it to the side because I'm on my side, my left side, and she's like just adjusted for a second, and then that was it. It came out. Asshole didn't hurt afterwards, so I didn't feel like I was violated by anything. So I don't know what everybody else is talking about, but that went smoother than I thought.
And
the only thing I was worried about was shitting on the doctor during surgery, and she's like, "Don't worry, that's what the suction unit's for. They have a whole suction unit sitting right there for."
Yeah, that thing sucks ass.
And you said you've been put to sleep many a times, and I had the same experience every time I try to watch the first Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to do it.
Yeah. Well, same thing happened to me every time I visited Bill Cosby. So.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
So how did the colonoscopy go for Shelley?
Huh?
So how did the colonoscopy go for Shelley?
His and
It
hers.
actually worked out pretty good because my ride home canceled. My brother ended up getting a side job cooking somewhere else, so he had to work. So it worked out that it was early enough she could still get to work after it, so she just sat there with me. They actually let her sit in the room.
Oh, I figured maybe she got one because nothing says romance like getting colonoscopies together.
I tried with everything. I tried to get her to join with the colonoscopy. I tried to get her 2 days before that to join up with the COVID-19 test. I'm like, come on. It's covered. Do it.
They want to stick what in my where?
2-for-1 package. See who can get the camera further up their ass.
Yeah, in 2020, you just got to get inventive with romance and love and stuff. So
You can't touch, so you might as well have the camera do it for you, and then you can put a VR headset on. But yeah, that was definitely interesting. I don't have to worry about it now for another 5 years, unless something comes from the test results. But yeah.
yeah, I gotta say
Well,
that.
they invite you back for another one.
I'll ask him if I can get a 3-for-1 deal. Get you guys in so you get yours done with.
Get a punch card or something too.
Yeah. Free cup of coffee after.
I'm busy that day.
Yeah, I gotta say, up until today, Wednesday, I don't think I had anything quite that exciting. Other than something that Kerby knows about because I shared it with him. David, I don't know if you saw this. I forget if I think I posted it. There's a sloth comic that's coming out. There's a Kickstarter for a sloth comic.
Okay, yeah, I kind of barely saw it in passing, more or less.
Yeah, I was watching the Comic Book Club podcast, which is not the Crimson Cowl Comic Club podcast, but
off podcast.
Yeah, a group of guys from New York that are once hosted by Nerdist. I don't know if they're hosted by them anymore, but in quarantine they've been hosting doing a Zoom show and doing a YouTube live stream. Normally they would just do a live show in-house at a venue in New York, and you would just listen to it the next day if you weren't attending in New York. But they'll have creators on, and then they had this one guy that was talking about his new comic, Slowpokes, which was about sloths that murder people. And I'm like, well, this is pretty cool. So I started searching it. And of course, I saw an option where you could be drawn into the comic book.
Here we go. I'm thinking there might be a new club pick coming up.
Yeah. It'll be down the road. The current Kickstarter is for issue 1, which is planned to come out, I think, on Halloween digitally, and then the physical copies will be mailed out I think December they're hoping for, just when they figured out what's going on with the mail and just everything. But the donating for this Kickstarter, one of the options was to be drawn in, and that one would be the next issue, which I think they said like October 2021. I'm not sure. That might just be an estimated thing, but when you're making an independent comic on Kickstarter, you're just kind of taking it, issue by issue, and it could be, another year till it happens. But
Still quicker than Berserker. I mean, Jesus, 2022 for the final one. It's like they're making a movie, not a book.
So, yep, that one will be, once the information's out there, then I'll see what happens. Usually you're able to add on extra copies after the Kickstarter, and you can up your pledge and add-ons and stuff like that. So if it comes down to it, because this is something I'm assuming is not going to be available in a previews catalog or anything like that. It seems like it'll be strictly to the Kickstarter. So once we get that information, then I'll most likely scoop up some copies, obviously, and allow everyone to check it out if they need to. It's also very cheap to donate to contribute. They have a cheap digital one, and even the physical copies, and they give you combos. There's t-shirts, there's posters, there's companion podcasts. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of give that little plug out there as something that was exciting for my week. Once again, not as exciting as Kirby's week. So that's why he had to go first.
Well, at least
I couldn't hold it anymore.
I didn't get any kind of slow poke or colonoscopy or anything else.
Yeah, was the poke slow or fast in your story, Kirby?
I was out. I was in Michael Jackson lands. It seemed like it went pretty fast to me. But I hope she was slow and gentle. There wasn't no after soreness, so I think she was pretty good about being slow and gentle with me. De-virginized.
See, that's where you should have at least had the audio recording or something like that, just to kind of get that live process going on.
Yeah, I thought about that, but they wouldn't let me bring any type of metal object in there. Just in case something goes wrong with the fentanyl, the machine that they use, I guess it does something with metal shit.
So there's not a podcast package that's available when you get colonoscopy?
Nope. They should have little bags that you can stick your electronics in that kind of protect them, that you can still use them.
Now, David, you're being attacked by some kind of creature on your screen.
Yeah. I'm getting.
Or he's giving the cat a colonoscopy.
She really perked up.
Yeah, it's like, come on, be gentle. Yeah, I got that Disney package this week for Mandalorian. Did it early, thinking maybe there's some cool new stuff on there that I haven't seen, but pretty much mostly what was there, other than like the Clone Wars new season. And then I finally did get to see Star Wars Episode 9. Yay.
Wait.
It wasn't too thrilled.
I don't know if you're into behind the scenes stuff, because they have an 8-episode thing for Mandalorian season 1.
Yep.
That's all on there. That was pretty interesting if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that first. Give this season a chance to get a couple episodes in. So otherwise I'll be bummed once I start it. But then I heard today on one of my other podcasts that I'm guessing it just got on Netflix, the Karate Kid series.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai, and I really enjoyed the couple episodes I did see. So now I want to get Netflix back and watch that. So.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I am looking forward to checking it out, but I have to go back and rewatch the Karate Kid first. So I figured it'd be good to rewatch at least the first one. I don't know if it'll really be necessary to watch the second or third, and certainly not like
definitely not the fourth
beyond that,
or the remake with Jackie Chan as Mr. Miyagi
with Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but at least, Jackie Chan did his own waxing on.
Do you got Amazon Prime?
I don't.
I
David?
yeah, well, I think I might right now. Tammy ordered some stuff, and sometimes she'll just put it on there to get the free shipping and whatever, and then let it run its
They
course.
have a toy store near you, which shows a bunch of the old toy stores, what happened to them with the whole COVID thing. That was a pretty interesting series.
Hmm.
And then, like I was telling Anthony, I think a week ago or so, there's what was it called? I think the postcard killings with Negan in there. His daughter gets killed. It's like child enslavement stuff. And then you're into Harley Quinn and Seth Meyers, what's his name? Simon Pegg are all in the terminal. That was a pretty interesting murder style twist drama.
Yeah, I'm so behind on anything like new when it comes to television for the most part, and
Those are the first ones I watched in a long time.
and I just started rewatching Animaniacs because in November a new season with the original cast is on
I heard
Hulu.
about that.
So yeah,
That's something.
Yeah, I tend to watch older shows that are new to me because I hadn't watched them the first time when they were popular and everything. But in part that's because I hate getting into a show and then it's just suddenly canceled, and you're like, what happened? That happens like every time that I try to watch a new show. It's like it goes on for season or two seasons, and then all of a sudden it's canceled, and I'm like, it's always on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. There's maybe two shows that actually finished their actual show decently.
Yeah, I think that should be an automatic thing. Anytime they have a TV show that runs for more than like an episode, is they should automatically be like, you're canceled. So we're gonna let you just shoot a finale and be done.
There should be like a thing in the contract that says if you get canceled, you got 3 episodes to finish up your series. Wait,
Yeah.
you going to pick us a drink?
Yeah, I think he's going to, make a martini or something. He had his shaker.
I thought about mixing up a drink today since I haven't been able to drink for a few. I figure I'll give it a couple days in case she cuts something inside me. Don't want to bleed out.
Yeah, that would have been a great segment. Tammy was just calling me. I should have just let you guys know, answered it, put it on speakerphone. And
do an intro for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other thing that happened today, I was pretty excited. They cast an actress for Ms. Marvel for the Disney Plus show, and that was something that I always talk about on the Crimson Cowl Comic Club. Just talking about it's my favorite ongoing superhero series. Started in 2014. But the name here is, and I may pronounce it wrong, but Iman Vellani. She is a brand new actress. I don't even think she has an IMDb page, and yeah, you see the 1 or 2 pictures they've shown of her, and yeah, it looks pretty awesome. Young actress to fit that character role, and yeah, I'm pretty pumped up for that. So.
And I was going to ask, I wasn't sure if you were excited because they cast somebody in the part, or if you were actually excited for the casting choice. But you're not familiar with the person who got the part.
Yeah, it's mostly both in the sense of I like the idea that it is somebody kind of fresh because this is going to be that role that's gonna start their career and things like that, and what better way to do that in a giant established universe, something that's going to have direct ties leading into like Captain Marvel 2 and other things. So it's and with her popularity in the recent Avengers video game, Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of. Plus, it's on Disney Plus, so now that they got that casting, we'll probably start filming. As soon as things are safe to go, probably early next year, I'm guessing. But
So where did you hear about her popularity in the Avengers video game? Because I hear all these people talking about the Avengers video games on my video game podcast. No one said Miss Marvel yet.
really, because she's literally the lead character.
Yeah, you probably didn't hear about it because everybody's talking about who's better, Swamp Thing or Man Thing.
Exactly, the great debate of 2020
Pick up your copy yet?
of Avengers.
Yep.
Oh, 2020.
I've got many copies of 2020. I haven't yet, no, because after the initial excitement, then I found an awesome video on YouTube, and I still have maybe like an hour to go where I was watching someone do the walkthrough and play it and everything. So that calmed me down a little bit, where I didn't need that instant urge to experience it myself. I would just pick up an old Super Nintendo controller and just press buttons as I'm watching like someone play it on YouTube. So it made me think I tricked my brain into thinking I was playing it. So I saved a lot of money. So, but yeah, I would say come Black Friday, Christmas, if there's a deal on it, I wouldn't be opposed to picking up a copy just to kind of have it on it's on just a little bit. There's Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel kind of section going on over there. So I'm one of those collectors that just like, yep, here's a game for a system I don't own, but it's also just like, here's a commemorative piece of.
I got rid of a lot of my gaming systems. I mean, I've had everyone pretty much since Pong. That's I still even have a Nintendo Virtual Boy.
I've got it too.
I got one of those packed away. I got a couple of the weird systems that you don't find hardly anywhere. I held on to those. But every vampire game I've ever had with every system goes right in Shelley's book collection. And so I don't have the things to play them anymore, but it's got vampires, got to keep it. So.
I've never had a Sega Genesis, and yet I have a Sega Genesis X-Men game. So.
How
I know how that got there.
Had the best system ever. Sega Genesis favorite.
Seriously, because I do.
I don't remember. I kind of do, but I don't remember exactly.
Well, I know the 100% answer. So
okay, because I came across it, and I vaguely remembered it being at the store, and I cannot remember at all like where it came from and why we ended up with it, whatever. But it's now down here in my basement, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to do with this now.
That came from Dr. Kurt's dad, because he gave it to Kurt to sell, and there was a moment where I was going to buy it, and let's freeze frame that. Okay. Was that enough that you could take?
Sammy calling you to? Oh.
What are we looking at here?
Stupid thing. Oh, her dad, or her boss just picked up some of that fuck COVID beer. Well, she was just talking to her parents.
Yeah, I was just on the phone.
But he's got some of that fuck COVID beer, but his is does it say gray ale? I don't have my glasses on, but the can's all black with a green V and then white lettering. And the ones we tried at Jeff's on Main, those were white cans with the black V or the red V and black lettering. So they must have different flavors of it out there.
Yeah, I think this says hazy pale.
Hazy pale. Because we just picked up another 6-pack of it for the lady that she works with that's retired today. So got her a bunch of alcohol, and I wanted to get her some adult diapers too, but they didn't have no 2-packs or something like that. You had to buy a big case.
Yeah, get some of that colonoscopy beer.
Yep.
The dark lager.
The dark lager.
So that X-Men game. Yeah.
Get the Xbox version, the Xbox One.
Oh no!
Come over here and we'll play. I'm looking for a new game to play. we'll just veg on it. Might have to take a couple days off work, but
That can't happen. So
So basically, what you're telling me is I should probably give this game to Kurt because I don't know what we should do with it, and it probably would go to him anyways because most of the stuff that's left over, if it's not something that I personally want or whatever, it's just
yeah, there
it's
was
the
a
only
moment,
thing he cares about anymore.
there was a moment that I was going to buy it, and I kept forgetting to check if I actually owned it or not. I still do have all my systems, but just the other week, I hooked up the N64 because on the Switch, they're advertising the new Mario Super 3D All Stars, which is like back in the Super Nintendo days, they had the Mario All Stars, and they took whatever classic Mario games up to that point and put them on one cartridge. Now they've done that for Nintendo Switch, but they were talking like Mario 64, I think Odyssey and Sunshine.
Yeah, I believe David has that. He was just showing Tammy the different games on it. And I remember, Mario 64 was on there,
And Kirby's still the best character. Cruising around, sucking them up.
And that's CURB. Wait, no.
yeah, that's a game where you're
That one spelled like the
back
vacuum.
out on the side of the road, right?
Yeah. So I hooked up the old N64 and dusted off Mario 64 and started a new file and started playing my way through the game for the 120 stars that I completed back in 1998, I think it was. That the game would have came out in 97. I got it for Christmas, and then that January, I remember beating the game, getting all 120 stars, and writing on my 8th grade notebook the date that I beat Mario 64. And that was just, I don't know why I wrote it on a school notebook, but I needed just to tell people, look at the date I wrote. This is the date that I beat a video game. So
Mario 64. I can even beat the first level on Super Mario Brothers.
I
warping.
I think it's about, I don't know if it's 5 or 6 minutes, no later than that I can beat the whole game of Super Mario Brothers with warping. I think there's people that can beat the game in 4 minutes, I think, where you can watch it, competitions, and they probably have it on YouTube. But I did it for some people in-house here. 5 or 6, I don't remember. But what's crazy is when you're running, and let's say you got like the stairs, and there will be some time where, you can jump like almost half the stairs and then one more jump to clear the huge steps. But there's sometimes if you hit it just at a certain angle where you stall for like a half a second and then you have to regain your momentum, I would just start over even if I was like world 7 out of 8 or something. People are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't. If I wasted that half a second, I'm not going to get this time, or that's going to be wasted time to beat Bowser or something. So if I am screwed up on the steps, I would have to start it all over again just to get that time. So
yeah, there's a lot of people that would do that. They know if they didn't get to a certain point or whatever, then might as well just give up. Hit your power button, put it back in, hit it again, pull it out, blow it back off, put it back in, and play it again.
Yeah, this holiday season, they're doing the Nintendo Game & Watch. They're doing a little throwback, but they're putting the original Super Mario Brothers on there. And I have all the alerts. I got my buddy Brent is checking the alerts, so as soon as the pre-orders come up, because that's a game I'd want to get that Game & Watch for, and that'd be pretty sweet to have that on a portable.
Well, I wanted to get that. I'm still trying to get this. What is it? Nintendo 64 Mini that came out. That was the last system that came out. That thing's up to $300 now, and all I wanted is because it's got Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and so I love that game. So I got the Nintendo Mini. I was gonna get the Sega Mini, but
I might have that for Super Nintendo. I know what game you're talking about.
Yeah, I've had it for Super Nintendo, for Sega Genesis. So I think the Game Boy or GameCube, the little square box one of the Nintendo.
David, did you just take a drink of Mountain Glue?
Oh, it's Mountain Blue, which is green for some reason.
Maybe we just have to adjust the settings on our Zooms here.
That's a monitor thing.
Oh, yep. See, you're wearing a green shirt now.
What is it?
My phone charger.
Well, I haven't changed it.
Plug
my
the
God.
prong end in.
Oh my god.
My wife
Oh
has her
my-
phone
shut
charger.
up.
Well, that's
I
great.
don't know where it was supposed to plug. She's trying to plug the end that goes into your phone into the socket while she holds the socket in.
I haven't had much sleep for the last couple days.
She got to go to the dentist this morning.
He needs a party in a bag.
Yeah, she definitely needs a party in the bag.
I need a party in a bag. I'm one of those people that, like, it doesn't matter how I can get my full 8 hours sleep. I can get 4 hours of sleep. I can get 10 hours of sleep. I feel exactly the same no matter. You know.
Yep.
Must be nice.
No, it's not nice.
No,
It sucks because you don't feel relieved.
I feel like I got, you know, I feel like the 2 hours of sleep.
Okay.
That's why I can see Michael Jackson being that way with all his music and everything. He's probably just, once he had that for the first time, he's like, yeah, that's his new thing. Yeah, that's worse than the Brett Favre drug. What was that called?
I can't remember which one he was on.
Not Viking.
It was just cheese, right?
Yeah, Wisconsin. Good old Wisconsin cheese curds.
He was on cheese.
So,
Ritalin, Adderall. I'm trying to think of.
No.
Oxy.
Brett Favre was a quarterback. See, I know something about sports. So it wouldn't have been the same drug. The colonoscopy would have been something that you would have taken if you were a tight end.
Yeah.
Speaking of random movies to watch on Hulu, I was going to watch an episode of Animaniacs, and then I just happened to be like, you know what, I'm just going to browse, see what. Normally, I always have a specific like stack, being like, all right, I'm watching this, I'm watching that. So very rarely I just kind of channel surf, if you will. And I came across The Mask from '94. I'm like, I have not seen it in a long time. And comic book movie, by the way, for those that don't know.
Yeah, I got a few of the Mask comics.
Sure, we all know, but
I thought it
for
was a
anyone else.
COVID-19 documentary.
I just saw that one in the theaters when it came out.
Oh, yeah. And it was crazy that it's probably been at least 15 years since I've seen it, maybe longer. But, like, I just remembered every line, every, like, mannerism or goofy face that Jim Carrey makes. Like, just everything about it. I'm just like, wow, I watched this movie a lot back then. But, yeah, it was kind of fun to revisit it.
You know what was
Yeah, that was one of his replay ones.
Next.
yeah.
I believe Jim's making a comeback, isn't he?
Jim?
Yeah, he's been in a couple podcasts. I think he's doing something new finally.
Well, I know he's joining SNL to play Biden in their debate sketches, so maybe that's what he's promoting.
No, it wasn't that. This was something more like a movie or something. But yeah, I could definitely see that. That would be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else he's trying to think. The last thing I would have seen him in, well, I guess Sonic the Hedgehog. He was Dr. Robotnik. Back
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So I guess he has been working.
Maybe he'll do that one skit with the fire safety. What was it?
Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal
Yeah.
Bill. You can't do that on Mad TV.
On SNL.
SNL.
You get sued by In Living Color.
What if he does Fire Marshal William?
What happened to the weigh-ins? I haven't seen Dan weigh
Which of the 50
No.
are you talking about?
Maybe we should get Jim Carrey on here to weigh in on the weigh-ins.
That's a good podcast. Weigh in on the weigh-ins.
It's perfect time with the COVID thing. You get all kinds of stars that do weird things.
They're bored.
They'd give you a colonoscopy. You know.
Yeah, they'd be able to get their camera in to record their colonoscopy at least. I'm sure
And then they could get it on like it could be on just like a regular basic cable channel like A&E or something. You know.
I mean, this This doctor could totally make a show of her own, because when I went in for it, I was told that I would not get in until January. And then this one nurse comes in and she's like, "Oh, I got this way. I can get you in at 7:00 one of these days this week." Like, well, January sounds good to me. We don't have to bump up the time limit here.
We got Dr. Pimple Popper. Why not like Nurse Ass Sucker?
She has an average of 18 colonoscopies a day, all the way through January booked.
How many does she give to patients?
At least 3 or 4.
So you're saying she's got the ass full?
Yeah, definitely has the ass full for a while.
Feels good not to be, censored by the Crimson Cowl Comic Club crew and the editors and people that run that show.
Yeah.
Bunch of bummers.
I'm gonna have to do a lot of cutting on here.
Anthony, David.
Oh, that's it? Oh, what the hell? Bunch
Yep.
of losers.
Everybody else is in bed. This is late at night.
I know, it's like almost 9:00.
Come on in
Might
that room.
You might have to make some not to give you work to do or anything, but it'd be fun to create like a poster or something, and just kind of be a little more splashy with it. And I think as they go on, maybe more people will be like, "Oh, that's going on. That's going on." But just being like, this Wednesday, episode 51.
Right.
You want me to splash something on a poster, huh? Could have done that for you a day or two ago.
You're supposed to be the butt of the joke.
Nice butt humor.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
What kind of food do you have for us to sample there, Anthony?
What kind of what?
Food do you have for us to sample?
Food. I sold all my food. I'm going on an all water fast. Like Kevin Smith.
I hurried and I ate before doing this, not thinking, well, I could have just ate during this and it would have been fine. I emptied my bowl right beforehand.
Yeah, and Kerby emptied his bowls early. Oh, wait, bowl. Oh, sorry.
Bowl. This wouldn't even hold the bowels.
I filled the bowl.
But yeah, I could have just ate my dinner, while we were doing this. I wasn't even thinking. I'm like, oh, I better hurry because we're gonna do this thing and I gotta eat.
Dinner and a podcast.
Yeah,
And
I was kind of thinking about that with the food thing. You can't really set up everybody to eat the same thing because you all got to go out separately to go get this stuff. And so I was thinking maybe just randomly bring weird items in and talk about them, each individual person or something.
We'll do like, hey, next week, Wednesday, we're going to have pizza and everybody can come with a different pizza and we'll all discuss, whatever.
Yeah, I just bought 2 Orbs today.
You bought 2 what?
2 Orbs pizza.
Orbs?
A deluxe natural rise and
Orbs?
Orbs?
Horse?
Horse.
I bought
Horse
2
the
Orbs today.
boards.
2 for 1 horse.
Yeah, they were standing on the corner. They were like, hey, you want to party? And I was like, oh, are you doing colonoscopies? That cost
What's that tube in your back pocket? Are you happy to see me?
And I was going to ask you then, David, just kind of looking at the time here. So for those listening, watching, whatever, however they're going to consume this, you were thinking about shooting for an hour.
Yeah, roughly an hour.
Okay.
My time is limited during the week. I figure if we shoot for an hour, that kind of allows me enough wiggle room to get done what I need to do. Go pick up the kid from work and get back, set up, do this, and then go take care of some house chore things that I got to do before Tammy comes home from work. And
The honey-do list.
I'm all domesticated now.
Might have a car for sale here pretty soon. If your boy has any paper route money left over.
Yeah, well, he's making a little bit better than what he did as carrying papers.
Now he's
They charge
rolling
him more.
papers.
Yeah. Well, he does work at a middle school, so he might be. But yeah, he's doing okay and saving up, so he should have the money for a car. I think he's not in a hurry for one. We just got him his learner's permit. DMV now, back in my day, we used to just say, I got my temps.
Yep.
Now you say temps and people look at you weird, like they don't understand what it is. It's a learner's.
You got a temperature? That means you got COVID.
Yeah. Get out of here. Oh my God, the DMV too, they're yelling at people. It's raining on the day that we're there.
That's not new.
And they're making everybody stand outside in the rain, lining up. And when there wasn't a line out there, people would go up, and it's raining, so they've got signs up, right? But it's raining. You're getting rained on. You're just trying to hurry up and get out of the rain. They open the door and they yell at you, and they're like, "You can't just come in here."
Everybody's going to get sick.
On the sign. I'm thinking, who's going to read the sign when it's pouring rain? But I will hand it to the people at the DMV. The one in West Bend, at least, it's not terrible. I haven't had those really terrible DMV horror stories that you always hear about. Usually the people that I end up dealing with, I have had some that were kind of typical DMV people, but most of the people that I've dealt with that were actually pleasant and everything. And this time around, even though they've got extra crap that they got to deal with too, they were actually pretty pleasant to deal with. So Ethan went in, he did his written test, and because they don't want people to come back, they're like, "You passed." And so now it's debatable because he, like, through the end of the year, they're not making him do the road tests. And I think they have some people doing road tests, but I'm not sure exactly how that works. But
as the instructor gets ready to hop in the vehicle, just cough, and he's like, "All right, you passed."
They do the class and behind the wheel and stuff, and then they're not gonna make them do it, and that's up till the end of the year. But I guess there's some states where they're not doing it anyways.
Basically, next year we're gonna have a ton of accidents.
And some people are thinking that they might just, kind of do that with this, like, depending on how this goes, maybe they will just stop doing that for anybody who's actually done the driver's education and behind the wheel, to not make them do a test. Apparently they've actually found that older people with more driving experience that come in and take their tests. I don't know if because of an out-of-state thing where you have to retake your test here or something. Actually, the fail rate is much higher than
I believe that.
than the people who did the driver's ed. Most people that do the driver's ed thing and behind the wheel pass it, their first or second time. And apparently they're saying that, like, older people who didn't do it and whatever, they come in and, it takes them like several times to pass the test. But I don't know. I would hate to have to take a retest periodically, and at the same time, there are so many people out on the road that I'm just like, they need to retest that person.
Yep. Well, basically you got the people that yell at the people about playing video games, flunking the test, and the people that are playing video games, they're passing the test.
So yeah, once Ethan gets his license, he can then take Kerby to his next colonoscopy to get that punch card filled up.
I'm looking for a chauffeur.
Yeah, and maybe they'll let him sit in the room.
Now that's a podcast I want to listen to.
Yeah, Ethan might even have something to say. But anyways, our hour is up. So I guess sometime throughout the week, Kirby's going to have to go out and get something else done so that we can talk about it a week from now.
Yeah, lots more coming up. And tomorrow I'll be releasing the poop-episode. So.
So yeah, for all of those listening, subscribe to Under the Cowl, which is this podcast, as well as Under the Cowl.
Rate and review.
What's it?
And rate and review, preferably 5 stars, whether you like it or not. Just you don't like it, give us 5 stars, and then just tell us why you don't like it.
And then Under the Cowl of MS, as well as the Crimson Cowl Comic Club. 3 great podcast recommendations.
And where can you listen to the podcasts?
On most of your available platforms. It's on at least 8 different platforms right now. Spotify, Anchor, iTunes.
Virtual Boy, Genesis, Pong.
Then there's just the one we don't like.
You could listen to a parrot who's already heard it.
Yeah, well, that's. I bet you if they made new Flintstones episodes, actually, maybe that's in the comic book, the Flintstones. I could see that being a podcast. So.
Parrot.
What brought that up? What brought the Flintstones up? Did you know that it's their 50, 60, what was it, 70th anniversary yesterday was for the Flintstones?
I yabba dabba didn't.
Yeah, they've been around since the Stone Age.
1960 to 1968 or 69 it ran.
Yeah.
69.
See, Under the Cowl is only 50.
That's right.
That's all rerun.
Under the Cowl is only 50?
Yeah.
Under the Cowl of MS is almost up to episode 40 already.
Well,
You won't shut up.
I just can't shut up.
you're cranking them out like you had a laxative.
Just shitting them out left and right.
So on that note, I think that will wrap it up. I don't think there was a real.
Wipe it dry and send it out.
I don't think there was a real sign off other than see you later.